As we talked about many times before, the Family Channel 8 passengers have been under fire for a while now, and recently there's been rumors that the family has been torn apart. 8 passengers started out as a family vlog channel where parents Kevin and Ruby vlogged their lives with their 6 kids. We've talked about them many times before as they've gotten called out more recently in the last year than ever before. Ruby's entire family is basically on social media. Her siblings have vlog channels of their own, including her parents, and over the years we've seen videos of their families all getting together, being really close. And out of all the siblings, Ruby has been the one to receive a lot of hate and backlash because she has always been an extremely strict parent, her and Kevin both. She has been called out along with her husband for the ways that they have chosen to punish their children and talk about the ways they punish their children on the internet. As the years have gone by, they've only gotten more and more extreme, and as a result, people have always wondered what it would be like when their kids moved away and went to college. People always warned them that their kids were probably going to never look back or never want to come back home after the way that they have treated them in this house. Their eldest daughter, Sherry, is now in college. It's her sophomore year, and she is now speaking out about her thoughts about things her mom specifically has been preaching online. Now, in the last year, Ruby and Kevin have received way more backlash than ever before due to them becoming a major part of a group called Connections, a parenting advice page that is linked to a Facebook group called Moms of Truth that is led by a woman named Jody. Jody, Ruby, and Kevin would often post YouTube videos giving advice to parents who were feeling desperate for help with their kids. The advice they were giving all surrounded this concept of living in truth, and it's basically them saying if you are not absolutely perfect as a person, you are not a good person and you are bad. The expectations were set so high for children, and it seemed so ridiculously unrealistic. No room for mistakes, no room for fun, no room for growth, no room for friends, no room for literally even learning from your mistakes. It's as if they expected children to come out of the womb and be some kind of robot. As Kevin and Ruby leaned more into this Connections page, they ended up having to quit their family YouTube channel because they were receiving so much hate because they only seemed to be getting stricter and stricter as parents. And people felt so bad for their kids, and also kids of the people that they were giving advice to. As time has gone on, people did notice that Ruby was not as close with her family, and her sisters have even come out to say that she is no longer speaking to them. And her sister has even come out to say things like, Connections has torn families apart. It is not a good group to be affiliated with, and hopefully one day she will realize. And I think everybody realized from the beginning of these two joining this page Connections and hearing the things that they were saying, the advice that they were giving, it was very much leading families to split apart if somebody wasn't living in truth. And that's exactly what seemed to be going on with Ruby and Kevin. They had made videos where it sounded like they believed that Ruby's family wasn't living in truth, and so they completely cut themselves off from Ruby's parents and all of her siblings. And it was very noticeable that they were no longer at any sort of family event, and with her sister starting to come out and speak about it, everybody knew for sure that's what was going on. This group had torn their family apart. And recently it's been rumored that Ruby got so involved in Connections that it drove a wedge between her and Kevin. I'm not exactly sure how true it is what's going on between Kevin and Ruby, but what I do know is that her daughter is now coming to speak out against the Connections page, and all of Ruby's side of the family seems to be very supportive in Sherry going against her mom's beliefs. Sherry just entered her second year of college, so she's already had a year living away from her parents, being on her own, and experiencing what that life is like, seeing the world from outside of her household. And now it looks like she isn't afraid to come out and give her stance on Connections. She shared on Instagram on her story specifically talking about this entire situation and about Connections, this long message saying that she knows that there's rumors that are going around surrounding her family. She said that she's no longer in contact with her immediate family and she doesn't support the extreme beliefs of Connections. And it does sound like they are working on the situation. hopefully trying to get Ruby out of this. Sherry's also been public about her stance on Facebook as well. This woman named Teresa came out and said that she had previously been a part of the Connections and Mom of Truth Facebook group, and she started to notice that she didn't really like the messages that they were spreading, so she wrote this whole Google review about the business, but she says it's been taken down from Google. Either Ruby or Jody maybe has taken it down, I'm not sure, but she wanted to put it on Facebook to get the message across somehow, some way, and Sherry ended up commenting on it, agreeing with what she had to say. So I'll read you guys the post that Teresa made on Facebook. Update. Feel free to share this review on Facebook, etc., since it isn't showing up on Google reviews, and I think it's important for people to be aware. I try to stay positive these days, however, I feel obligated to share this warning about a life coaching group called Connections or Moms of Truth. This is my Google review. I have grave concerns about the organization called Connections Classroom and Moms of Truth. My husband and I took the first course for couples and benefited from being reminded to not tell ourselves unhelpful or untrue stories, and to validate and invite one another to listen when we feel we have another perspective to share. We are grateful for the correct principles we were reminded of through the course material. However, there were some serious red flags we witnessed while taking the course and through subsequent exposure to Connections. Though I realize there is a need for helpful counseling to help heal relationships, destructive division is actually a dangerous and major part of what Connections is perpetuating. The biggest problem I see is that Jody Hillbrandt and Ruby Frank do not use the principles they purport to teach. Instead of golden rule type language and patient, understanding interactions, they often harshly and forcefully shame and batter people down in a brash and cruel manner when they ask questions or have concerns, though they are very kind to those who agree with them. In all fairness, Jody appears to have started her career off with noble intentions, but those intentions are all called into question by past and current professional peers whom I have sought insight from, who see her methods and manners as emotionally and mentally detrimental, even abusive. Her license was revoked for a time due to violating client confidentiality. Ruby, who is known by many for her role as a YouTube influencer and a person trying to help families succeed at home, is a gifted and intelligent woman, but something has changed. For example, Jody and Ruby seem to think themselves synonymous with truth, always written with the capital T, which makes it appear that there is some type of God complex going on, and this gives off the warning signs of a cult-like mentality. Ruby and Jody frequently make quick judgments about situations without knowing or seeking to know enough of the details, and have been known to reflect truth by saying, "I feel sorry for you. It is obvious that you are lost. Your anxiety, depression, tendencies are a result of not taking responsibility for your feelings. Your children have no right to privacy. I recommend you kick your daughter out of your home for her rudeness and take her off your health insurance, regardless of her serious heart condition, etc." The tone and way these mothers treat people and give advice commonly goes against nearly every principle taught in professional psychological counseling, teaching, even most religious teaching and mentoring. It is painful to watch and heart-wrenching to read about, knowing that desperate or faithful followers may very well follow this frightening counsel. I feel obligated to warn those investigating Connections or Moms of Truth to be aware that these women have become master manipulators who are experts at pulling vulnerable individuals in, making them doubt themselves, their spouses, children, siblings, etc., until they one day realize their own family relationships have disintegrated. Please look closely at the current lives and families of many of those involved and talk to their family members, immediate and extended, before jumping into any counsel or training with them. All I have to say is that Ruby's daughter Sherry commented on this post saying, "Thank you for your courage and wise counsel," to which her comment was liked by several of Ruby's sisters, their husbands, and that says so much. The fact that she's saying thank you for your courage, because going against these two and this entire group is probably really hard, and this is honestly something that is so truthful in everything that has come out on their page. They are so nasty and so rude and so judgmental, and very quick to tell people that there is something wrong with their children or there is something wrong with their parenting, and as a result, their children are X, Y, and Z. They give no room for grace or understanding. It is so frustrating and so upsetting to hear them give advice to people that is so hurtful and so cruel, honestly. Ruby's brother's wife also commented on this post saying, "I agree with every word." And multiple people have commented under Sherry's post saying that they wish her luck in her journey and they support her. It's great to see that she also has all the support from family, because that is so important, and this is just such a tough and sad situation. So to know that she can lean on people who have noticed these changes in her mom as well is really comforting. And I really hope that Ruby can wake up and get out of this cult-like community, because her family is just so close, and to be torn apart like this is so freaking sad. But that's what's going on with the 8 passengers. That is what Sherry had to say. This whole thing is just so insane. I honestly can't believe that this is where this family has gone to. But I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.